So your CAT this week is based on global systems and governance, and I just want to give you some pointers as to how you might go about answering the three questions. The first one is a 4-mark question that asks you how security is a contributing factor in globalization. So you need to be considering how either improved security or changes to security may have affected the interconnection of countries. You know, how has that contributed to the process of globalization, which we know is linked to interconnection. So things to consider here might include the fact that national boundaries are more open at this point than they have been. Think about what impact that has in terms of interconnectivity of countries. You might also consider things like cybersecurity, internet security, and also the role of the EU, of course, which we know was put into place in order to promote peace and security. So how have those things actually contributed to the interconnection of countries? The second question involves two figures. The first one is a map that shows the USA's trading partners, and you can see from the key at the bottom that in red are the imports and in black are the export lines, and then the size of the arrows are proportional to the total value of goods that are either being imported and exported. Check that you look at all information on here, have a really good look and make sure that you've read and looked at every single part. The second figure is then a located proportional map to show Russia's trading partners. So again, you can see here that the size of the circles are proportional to the amount of trade, and then you can see that in blue are the imports to Russia, and then in red are the exports from Russia. Now then the question for 6 marks is asking you to analyse the trading patterns, and one of the key things here is that you consider total amounts of trade, that you consider exports and imports, and what you're really trying to do is to pick out both similarities and differences between both the USA and Russia in terms of global trade networks. So, are there differences or similarities in terms of the total trade? Are there similarities and differences in terms of the countries that are their trading partners? Are there similarities and differences in terms of proportion of imports and exports? And make sure that in your analysis you're using figures to support that, and where possible, rather than just picking out numbers from the map or either map, that actually you're trying to manipulate that data. So using phrases like, more than half of, or less than half of, or double, or this percentage of. So see if you can be a bit more sophisticated with numbers. The last question also involves a figure, but this time it's a report about global TB by the World Health Organization. And the question then asks you to discuss the issues associated with attempts at global governance of health issues. So you can use the resource that's on here, but also you need to be thinking about global health issues like COVID, and what your knowledge is of organizations like the World Health Organization, for example, in terms of managing and mitigating the impacts of that. This is a 9-mark question, so it's really important at the end that you make a conclusion that just needs to be 1 sentence in length. Okay, good luck.